Good day. Hello. I want to explain something about as we get older that's very, very important is our posture. I'm all for the world getting healthier and fitter in a positive way to improve the human race. How do we do that? I'm all for improving what is our greatest capital, in other words, what is profit? Can we discuss this openly? Because what profits a man if he gets older? He's got the big house and the car, but he has a problem with his back, or his joints, or his hips, and all the other things that can go wrong as you get older if you're not very careful with your diet and your exercise and the way you stand and the way you sit. Now, the wisest people know that you've got to look after your posture, which is not easy because when you stand at a computer and write or read a book or something like that, you tend to let your neck go forward and all that sort of thing, and you end up with a crook back, and yet because of your head's heavy and all that, and you end up with lack of exercise, and you end up with a real problem because when you, after a while, because of the way the discs are, the discs are slightly malleable and they can change shape by the way you stand. And you can see people have got all these different shapes of their spine by looking at them from the side. Now, it's a good idea occasionally to go to a chiropractor or someone and ask them, to draw your skeletal profile on a board so you can see what you look like from the side. And then you'll say, you've got a visual. You have then a visual means of saying, oh, crikey, I'm all over the place. I need to correct that. And that helps you then, you can actually say, begin to correct your posture, and then go back to the chiropractor again and say, what's it like now? Has it changed at all? Have I improved my posture? Because improving our posture is not just about standing straight, it's holding our stomach in, clenching our buttocks, holding our shoulders up but not too tight, and holding our head and ears above our shoulders, as we're taught by many people on the YouTube. But there's another way also that if we like reading and learning, then there's just reading for the pleasure of it. There's another way also that may help people regain their posture. And it goes back to what the monks did in the old days when the monks still are monks around, and what they do, they sit down there and they scribe and write down what they have to write down, repeated copies of the Quran or the Bible or some text, and they have to repeat that, and they sit there all night and all day under a candlelight or light of a window, close to a window, and they then after they spend there and they sit there and they get sort of hunched over. So how did they correct that? How did the correct people were wise in the old days? It may not be nothing about computers or technology, but they were wise and they had amazing brains to be able to retain all those information in all those texts that they could repeat. And they had to repeat it. The reason they had to repeat it, because when they wrote it, they couldn't afford to make any mistakes or printing errors or writing errors, because vellum and whatever they wrote upon was extremely expensive, and you can see in some of the old museums where they actually have sort of, I've made a mistake and it's not quite perfect, and I've had to rub it out. But there's something else that the monks did that I wonder why they did it. Why did they do that? And it's this. It's a very interesting book, by the way. Fantastic book. Books are so entertaining. This one's extremely entertaining. Colin McCulloch about Rome. It's extremely entertaining. It takes you away from what you're thinking and what have you. It teaches you many things about politics and contracts and all that sort of thing. Where does it originate from? But I just picked this book up out of the selection I have. If you walk around your garden, around your flat, around your anywhere you like, around the block, if you're allowed out, And you can hold it up like that and read it. Right? You can do that it takes practice because the book soon gets heavy. So you can walk around like that's in front of you, with your shoulders back and your eyes level, and that's it, level as the eyes, and move the book up and down as you're reading it. And that very, very simple mechanism, that's what it is, a physical mechanism, that very simple physical mechanism of walking around a small area, it doesn't matter where it is, and to maintain that posture for a while, was I realised why the monks used to walk around those courtyards in the shade. Why were they built like that? They walked around as close as little sort of old verandas, if you like, patios of the monasteries, and they used to walk around there with a dapper light coming in and holding themselves up, and walk around there for I don't know how long, walking around reading what they had to write. They read. We've got to read what we need to know this. So they read what they had to write or transcribe, translate, transcribe into the parchments and venoms they were using. So they had to know it. So they will go around there and walk around till they've got it in more or less in their heads. Then they can go down and write it. So that's one of the reasons why the monks did that. They walked around with a book in front of them, and it corrected their posture, because when they're sitting there writing, the problem with sitting there writing, or you're preoccupied, so you sort of relax your body. You're no longer on your tummy because you're concentrating. Your mind's full of what you're doing, and you become less conscious of your body, and your body will then get out of shape because of that. And that's something to sort of try to remember when you are sitting down somewhere at a table or a desk. Try to make it an exercise when you're sitting there. Don't just sit there and slouch. Try to hold your tummy in so your torso supports your body. It takes some concentration. But some people in the world are very good at that. They're very, very good at that. They know that looking after your posture it predetermines your health as you get older. I just sort of bring that to, if people watch this, they then know they can get some exercise and read at the same time. That corrects your posture, like the monks did in the old days. And there's nothing wrong with improving one's health, regardless. It's the most important capital we can get as we get older. No matter how rich we are, how wealthy we get, if we're in a cripple, in pain all the time, that impoverishes our life. So it's just another way of looking at what wealth actually is.